For me, what this shows is that you can indeed get there if you reshape yourself and if you redefine yourself. Joshua was a bricklayer. Joshua was held by the police in the UK for being in possession of cannabis at the time. And here we are as a pro. He has chalked up, like we say in boxing, 18-0. And I tell you this, the fight the world will be seeing, for which 90,000 tickets have been sold, and it is the biggest that post-war Britain will see, is a fight where aggression and ambition will be taken on experience and care, tact. So that is how this thing will play out. Joshua 18-0, hungry, a young man at 27, wants to add the WBA title to his IBF title, and he will come straight at Wladimir with that big right. And it is said in boxing, the worst weapon in boxing is the heavyweight right, and that is what this guy is carrying. And Klitschko is wonderful with his jabs, particularly the left jab. And so how Joshua comes like a lion, and how Klitschko will run, move about if he's able to do the bobber weave, flying like a butterfly and stinging like a bee, which was made popular by Muhammad Ali. If he's able to combine that and be very tactical, this will be a very interesting fight to watch. Joshua has just one way of fighting. He depends on that right. He wants to hold you to a corner and do punches in bunches, like we say in boxing. And if Klitschko gives him that opportunity, Klitschko will go down. Don't forget that our own Samuel Peter also knocked down, not knockout, this same Klitschko when they first fought, before the other fight where with the jab, he caused our man to retire on his stool. And you find that with that jab, that has been the biggest weapon of this Klitschko guy, Dr. Steelhammer. 15 of his last opponents, only 7 survived the battle. All others told their cornermen they cannot continue after the 7th round because he wears them down with a jab. But in the last fight that he had against a Briton, Tyson Fury, Fury was very furious with his legs moving, his hands moving, and so he gave Klitschko too many angles, and for that Klitschko did not know what to do. He couldn't even throw his right, which is also very dangerous. But here we have an Anthony Joshua who's a one-dimension fighter. We don't know now what other training he has received, and so I personally will want to look out for a Joshua who this time will do some leg work, move a little while depending on the right, because if all Joshua is bringing is the right, and Klitschko is able, given the fact that he is vastly experienced, he has seen all kinds of wars in the ring, 358 rounds of boxing against a man who has done only 44 in 18 fights. And so this man has seen all kinds of punches, all kinds of setup. He's seen everything in the ring. And so Joshua must bring something to unnerve him. I see Joshua going like a wounded lion, and if Klitschko is not able to hold that, this fight may not go beyond the 3rd or 4th round. But if this starts getting to the 6th, 7th, Joshua may be in trouble. I would like this to go to the 12th round so that something on Joshua's body will be seen by the whole of the universe. Joshua carries a tattoo of Nigeria on his right shoulder and the bigger tattoo of Africa on the right shoulder. But Joshua is a Briton. He fights for Britain. And this one fight is the biggest scene happening in sports tomorrow. This is so because for the 3rd time in boxing history, the big networks in America have agreed to work together. The last time they did was Mayweather, Pacquiao, and before that, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson. And so you find that for this fight, HBO is saying we will carry. Everybody is happy with HBO carry. And Showtime is saying we will carry. RTL in Germany is carrying. And Sky Sports is holding it in England. And I hear for Africa, Kwese Sports, and we congratulate them. And so you find it is a very, very big fight. And like Joshua says, anytime he plays his best song, the song by 50 Cent, if you don't go for the money, you die crying. Get rich or die crying. And so we will not want it to do 12. If it goes 8, 9, 10, what happens to Joshua? Won't he start getting frustrated and therefore miss his timing? Expose himself? And Klitschko, who knows when he will throw that right? The right is very dangerous. I told you that the worst thing that can happen to anybody in boxing is for a heavyweight to hit you. The name alone is heavy, then weight. And so when you receive a heavyweight punch, particularly when you miss it and you drop your gloves, for a man who has not done 8 rounds, who has always seen people lie looking at the lights, and that's Joshua. 4th round, 5th round, the fight is over. If this thing starts getting to the 7th, 8th, I'm afraid. But again, I would like to put Joshua slightly in front by saying 6-5. Joshua should get this. And as a Nigerian, because Joshua is from this country, the mother is Odusonya, Yeta Odusonya. So this Joshua carries our blood. Therefore, this Nigerian, this Briton, should win this one by knockout. And even if it goes the distance, I still pray that Joshua wins. It is good for Joshua to win, because if Klitschko wins at 41, man, what it means the world is not progressing. Our sport is not being the beautiful game, the sweet science. Boxing is called the sweet science because you find people coming up with different strategies to unnerve others. That's why when Mayweather was beating everybody, we were not too happy at his stage. We need to see changes in boxing. But here, the world will see a fight of contrasting styles. How Joshua will deal with the jab, and how Klitschko will deal with straight rights, looming rights, overhead rights, and punches in bunches. That will be what the world wants to see. If Joshua drops his guard, one punch, boom, and that is it. And if Klitschko is not able to hold the rampaging lion, punches in bunches, and bye-bye, we will say to Klitschko. Tough fight ahead, man. There's nothing wrong in losing in boxing. Once you dust off and keep moving, you get to where you want to go. But I hate to think Joshua will lose this. This is all because McKeden, his physiotherapist, tells us that there's a way the guy takes power from the lower body and pulls it out to the hands. That even as his trainer, he's not seen a boxer who does that. And so if you look at Joshua, the physique alone, it's like telling a local team to play Barcelona and you see Messi and everybody stepping out. That is the kind of thing. When you see Joshua, the strength, everything, Joshua is doing this in the UK. All 90,000 people will be cheering him. It will be difficult for Joshua to lose this. And it is good for Joshua to win so that he can start fighting in the USA. Yes, he's going to make about 15 million pounds from this one fight. And when all receipts are in, maybe he will get another plus 5 million pounds. But if he goes to the US, takes on Deontay Wilder, for example, we'll be talking about 50 million quid in 36 minutes, man. First, he lost to Tyson Fury. And for 17 months, he has not been in the ring. But we are believing that this man who has secretly trained, who has deceived everybody by saying he wants to knock out Joshua, knowing that he will not go for a knockout, if he wins this, it will be bad for boxing. That is why, for once, you see me in the corner of Joshua.